Ladies and gentlemen, have you ever been late to a meeting and thought, maybe I should just invent a 180 miles per hour magnesium missile with gullwing doors and race it down the autobahn like a caffeinated rocket scientist? No? Well, Rudolf Uhlenhaut did, and Mercedes let him. This, my friends, is the story of a man who looked at a Formula One car and said, "What if I drove this to work?" And the world said, "Sir, that is both insane and brilliant." That's the energy we're dealing with today. Before we hit the gas, smash that subscribe button like you're shifting into fifth gear on an open autobahn with a meeting in Munich and no rear-view mirror. Let's talk about the 1955 Mercedes-Benz 300 SLR Uhlenhaut Coupé, or as I like to call it, the car that made the Ferrari 250 GTO cry in its garage. This isn't just a car, this is the Mona Lisa of automotive engineering. Except it growls at you, smells like burnt oil, and tries to rip your face off at 180 miles per hour, 290 kilometers per hour, for those of you who measure your espresso in milliliters. Only 2 were ever made. That's right, 2. I've seen more UFOs in documentaries than 300 SLRs on the road. It was built off the legendary W196 chassis that Fangio drove to Formula One domination. But this one? This one was made with gullwing doors, an engine that screams in 8 straight lines, and bodywork so light it could float away in a breeze if it weren't held down by testosterone and engineering arrogance. The body is made of electron, a magnesium alloy so flammable the fire department probably had it on speed dial. Weight? Just 998 kilograms, 200 pounds. That's lighter than your neighbor's excuses for not mowing his lawn. Inside, it's not so much a cockpit as it is a wrestling match between your knees and a 3.0-liter straight-8 engine trying to melt your shoes. No air conditioning, no Bluetooth, just side-mounted exhausts that sound like God gargling nails. And I think that's beautiful. And guess what? Rudolf Uhlenhaut, the man himself, used one as his company car. Because when you're an engineer in 1950s Germany, HR can't stop you from showing up to work in a race car. In fact, there's a true story. He once drove from Stuttgart to Munich in under an hour. That's 143 miles, or 230 kilometers in traffic, probably honking at BMWs the whole way. The Uhlenhaut Coupé wasn't just fast, it was loud. So loud, in fact, that Rudolf allegedly went partially deaf from it. That's dedication, or stubbornness, or both. And here's where the comedy stops being metaphorical and starts being financial. This very car sold for 135 million euros at RM Sotheby's auction in 2022. That's $143 million, or roughly what my cousin Dave claims his NFT collection is worth. Link to the auction? Of course it's in the description. And no, Dave's NFT link is not. Back in 1955, the cost to build one of these things? Somewhere in the "are you insane" ballpark, but it was never for sale. That's right. For decades, Mercedes just kept it in their museum like a mechanical dragon guarding its hoard. Until one day, someone waved around 135 million euros and said, "I'll take it." And Mercedes replied, "Okay, but we're keeping the other one." To be fair, it's not just about the car. The money went into the Mercedes-Benz Fund for scholarships in decarbonization and environmental science. So technically, buying this car helps save the planet, or at least it helps future engineers build quieter ones. And now, let's pause to give it some credit. Because say what you will about the noise, the stiffness, the fact that it has literally no cup holders, this thing is a work of art that could lap Monza while solving a physics equation. It's raw, it's unapologetic, and it proves that sometimes the best way to get to work is sideways, with fire coming out the side. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm off to build a go-kart out of an ironing board and dreams, because that's as close as I'm getting to owning this thing. This has been Timmy Tiny Wheels, reminding you, if you ever feel useless, remember, some people are still giving life advice from beanbag chairs on Facebook.